Hey guys, I'm Brianna. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a mishmash of a lot of things. I have a lot to talk about, and they're all like a couple small things to talk about, if that makes any sense. So I decided to just put it all in one video because I haven't filmed in, I think, almost 2 weeks now. I'm back at school, if you couldn't tell, so that's been going okay. But yeah, so this video is going to be a mini book haul, a recently read video, and a currently reading video. So first I'm going to start off with the recently read, then the currently reading, and then I'll show you my book haul at the end. So I've only read 3 books since I've been at school, and I figured I wouldn't be reading a lot just because it's a mess. It's all over the place. It's either really busy or not hectic at all, so I really don't have any set plans and stuff, and that's why I also didn't film a TBR for this month because, again, it's crazy. Also, February like flies by in a blink. Sunday is Valentine's Day. That's when you know. But the first book I read this month was Watch Over Me by Mila Gray. This one I gave 5 stars, and it was really good. I really enjoyed it. So this is book 4 in her standalone military romance series. It's normally marketed YA, but I consider these to be new adult. It depends because their age range is like 17ish, so that's technically still young adult, but it's more mature in the topics she discusses and everything like that. So each book talks about something different, whether it's some sort of mental illness or just some past life trauma. So this one specifically talks about Zoe, and Zoe I can't speak. Zoe was in a domestic violence situation with her father. So her father is in prison, and in this book they find out he's either out on parole or he was released because of good behavior, stuff like that. So obviously her whole family's scared and they get up and move. And then it also follows Tristan. Tristan is Zoe's older brother's best friend, or I think older brother. Her older brother's in the military. But the thing is, Zoe's pretty much dealt with this whole thing by herself and like with her family, and her brother's kind of just left, and he was like, I'm kind of just gonna go into the military, and Zoe feels responsible for her family in a way, so she's kind of disregarded college and everything like that, and she's kind of just working to be the second parent in the household, and you don't really see how much of a toll that takes until later in the book. And I loved Tristan. Tristan is a typical like cinnamon roll hero. He's just very sweet. There's really nothing wrong with him. He's one of those good guy type books. But I really enjoyed this. There are triggers with domestic violence in this book. You do see a couple scenes with that play out, but overall really good. I mean, I wouldn't give it 5 stars if I didn't love it. But I kind of started off February with a bang because this was a great book. I'm just going to throw all these books up here because it's a mess. You see some in the corner right here. The next book I read this month was The One That Got Away by Karita Halley. This is book 2-ish, but it's a standalone series. It is a soccer romance. This one is not an age gap, but the original one that I did talk about in my January wrap-up, that's an age gap. And this one I wasn't impressed with. I gave it 3 stars. I just felt, so this book was a time jump book, so it was all about, so at first she moved there, and her and his brother had a fling, then she moved away, and then they kind of were together, but it was the wrong timing, and then it was the typical dad pays her off to not be with him type of deal, and it was just very all over the place, very time jumpy, and I find myself hating books like that. I just don't like time jumps that are continuous. I like the typical epilogue that's maybe a 2-year time jump. I think that's cute, but this book just didn't really do it for me 100%, unfortunately, which really sucks. But I read it. It was okay, and it sucks because this one was about Luciano, and Luciano's the captain of the team that you see in the first book, and I loved his character. But what frustrated me was when you saw his character, you didn't really see that he had someone in his past that he fell in love with, and I felt like the storyline kind of just came out of the blue because she wanted to continue on with this world. But it was okay. I think there were like 2 soccer scenes, so it wasn't as soccer heavy or football heavy as usual, but it wasn't anything that I was like, wow, this is amazing. So that's this one. And the last book I read this month is Feather by Olivia Wildenstein. This book was phenomenal. I cried during this book. I gave this book 5 stars. This is a hidden gem. I didn't expect it to be as good as it was, but so good, so worth it. I loved it. But this one is about, it's a Romeo and Juliet retelling, and me being the idiot I am sometimes, I didn't actually think it was going to be a Romeo and Juliet retelling. I thought she was going to be like, oh yeah, but it really was, and that's why I cried. But okay, so this is about Lee, I think that's how you pronounce her name. She says it in the book, and she's an angel, but she is trying to finish her wings so she can move up to Asylum, which is kind of like the big world of angels. It's hard to describe, but they do a really good job describing this book. So to complete your feathers, you have to pick a sinner and sign on to the sinner, and the whole point is you have to reform the sinner in a way, and they'll always be thinking about it, and each sinner is worth a specific amount of feathers. So at the time she has 81 to complete, and there is a male angel who is an archangel, so he's like the top of the top, and he's looking for a wife, and you have to have all your feathers to be considered. And she didn't really care about it, but she wants to kind of change angel society and stuff like that. So that's why she's like, well, I'm going to try and complete all my feathers. So she signs on to a triple, and that is a sinner who has 100, and they're kind of set at that mark, and they have never committed a good deed in their life. They're just set as a bad person, and to reform a triple is like very rare. So obviously Romeo and Juliet comes in there, but this book was really good, especially for the length. This is only, I think, 400 or 500 pages, so it's kind of on the shorter side, but phenomenal. Like, honestly, one of the best books I've ever read. It was a little touch of fantasy, a little touch of romance, a little touch of like kind of realistic life. It does have a little bit of the mafia in here. I just enjoyed this. I think this is my favorite Olivia Wildenstein book. I don't know. I love this. I think it's supposed to be a trilogy or 4 books. I'm not sure yet, but only books 1 and 2 are out. So please go give this a shot, because this, again, like I'm going to say again, it's a hidden gem. Did not expect to love it as much as I did, and I freaking adored this book. So good. And if I end up doing a top books of 2021, this will probably end up being on it. So those are the 3 books I've read, and yes, I am slacking, I know, but it's fine, it's okay. School comes first. So now I'm going to move on to my currently reading books. I'm in the middle of 3, and I'm going to start a 4th one, and I'm just having trouble getting through these books. That's why I'm in the middle of 3 books, but I'll share them with you. So, of course, I have to read A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas. Well, reread it, sorry. This is the novella that's in between book 3 and the new book that's coming out, book 4, A Court of Silver Flames. I don't know if I've shared this with you guys, but my boyfriend and I are going to be buddy reading A Court of Silver Flames, and we'll probably be vlogging some of it as long as like I see him and I can update him. But I think it's really cool, and I haven't read this book since I last reread the series, which I think was over the summer. So I kind of just want to read it so it's fresh in my mind, and I'll probably end up starting this Sunday because it's short. I'll get through it. And then I'm getting the book when it releases because I'm that crazy person, but it's okay. But if you don't know what this is about, which I'm sure most of BookTube knows what this is about, this is about Feyre and her story. It has fairies, it has the human realm, it has war, love, everything that you could want in a book. And I am very, very excited for the new one coming out. Also, that vlog will be spoilery because there's no way not to spoil book 4 in the series. So, don't watch it if you haven't read this book series at all. So the next book that I'm in the middle of is Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. I did take out the bookmark, but I marked the page I'm at. I'm having trouble getting through this book. I don't think I'm that invested in the characters and or the writing yet, and I'm like 150 pages into it, so I'm pretty deep, and that's why I kind of stopped at that one point. I don't know what's holding me back from it, because I know everyone loves this, and I want to love it because everyone loves it, so maybe I haven't gotten to the part where she starts completing her bucket list, so maybe I just have to get there and I'll enjoy it more, but I don't like the writing. I think that's what's holding me back, but I'm not sure. So I'm hoping I can continue reading it eventually, and I will like it when I decide to continue reading it. I hope this doesn't block you. No, it doesn't. The next book I'm in the middle of is Phoenix Unbound by Grace Draven, and I'm literally about halfway through it. Again, the writing, I mean, it's not the writing. I think this one's the plot for me, because I liked the other book a lot, but this one, the plot's kind of boring in a way. I don't know. I'm just not connecting to it, and I think it's because there's too many different elements that shouldn't be combined. So this book, this premise, I feel like I've talked about it before, but she is not a phoenix, actually. Well, not that I know of, but she is a fire witch. And the gladiator in this book, who was basically a slave, he escaped with her, and he's going back to his village to kind of reclaim his kingdom and throne and stuff like that. I think there's too many elements because they're trying to combine magic with kind of a Roman Empire type feel, and it's just not fitting for me. So I think that's why I stopped and I couldn't finish it. It's super quick. I'm literally 183 pages in, so when I feel like it, I'll pick it up, and I'm probably going to speed read it because it's not clicking for me, but I don't know if I'm going to continue the series after this one. And the last book that I am currently reading is Wolf Song by TJ Klune. I did decide to pick it up. I am 106 pages in, and I like it, but I don't love it. I did update on Goodreads kind of what my thoughts and feelings are, but again, something's just not clicking, and I really think this one for me is the writing. I'm not a huge fan of the writing. I love the plot. I like where it's going, and I can see kind of what it's happening. I also just found out this is an MM romance. I did not know that until I was reading non-spoiler reviews about the book. I'm enjoying it. I just don't think the writing is for me 100%, and it's a very slow build-up. And normally I love slow build-ups, but this to me is a little too slow because it leads you in like 5 million directions. And granted, I'm only 100 pages in, but like, I don't know, it's a little confusing the way he writes. So I will keep reading and see how I feel. I was hoping to finish this weekend, but there's a book that I just bought that came in that may take precedence over it, so I'm not sure yet, but I will let you know. But if I end up hating the writing when I finish this, I don't think I'm going to move on, which sucks because everyone keeps telling me all the other books are really good. So we'll see. So now that I got through my recently read and my currently reading, we're going to get into my mini book haul. So 2 of these books are from a used bookstore. One book is from Amazon and the other book is from Target. So I went to a used bookstore with my boyfriend hoping to find the Bridgerton series because it's like sold out everywhere, but I didn't, which sucked. But I found 2 other really cool books and I'm going to share them with you. So the first one is Layer of the Lion by Christine Feehand, and I think this is I'm not sure if it's a first edition. I'll let you know. I don't think it's a first edition, but it's super old. It's not in terrible condition, but I'm really excited for it. I have no idea. It's one of her standalones, and my mom loves Christine Feehand. Christine Feehand also wrote the Carpathian Vampire Mountain series, and I just bought the first 4 books. They're at home right now, but I'm really excited for those because my mom loved those books when they kind of first started coming out. I remember her reading them all the time when my mom was pregnant with my brother, I think it was, and she was just like going through them. She was zooming, and my mom has picked really, really good like fantasy type books. She introduced me to the Donna Grant book series, And I don't know, like, I've never read adult fantasy better than the ones she's picked out. She just finds these hidden gems. So yeah, I'm excited. I have no idea what the heck this one's about, but it's really freaking cool. It's giving me like creepy vibes. So no idea, but I do know a lot of her books are Italian type theme. So yeah, I'm interested to get into this one. And the other one is also another Christine Feehan book, and this is in like prime condition. So good. This one is the Scarletti Curse. Don't know if I said that right. I believe this is book 1 in a series, and it's basically all about betrayals and lies and duty and stuff like that, and obviously a curse. So I'm not sure if this one is necessarily, oh, wait. I was gonna say, I'm not sure if this is necessarily paranormal or not, but it's Christine Feehan, and I really want to read all her backlist because I've heard amazing things, and that is my plan once I kind of dive into that. I also have to kind of be in the mood to start feeling my paranormals, but hopefully that will happen soon. The next book I literally bought, and it was delayed for like 3 days on Amazon, and I was very upset because we had bad snow in Pennsylvania, but it's finally here, and I will be reading this as soon as possible when I'm done with my schoolwork. And that is Celestial by Olivia Wildenstein. This is book 2, and it's here. It's here. I'm so excited. It seems to be around the same size as Feather, so I'm not disappointed with the length of the book, but I'm very excited to jump into this one. I'm really hoping we can figure out more information about how Feather ended in this one, and this one actually follows Celeste, who is Lee's best friend in the first book, and she's older now, so obviously it's kind of a time jump or time gap book in a little bit, but I'm really excited, and I swear to anyone up there, this better not end on a cliffhanger, because book 3 does not come out till 2022, and I can't handle it. No, my emotions cannot handle it. But this one I will probably be picking up as soon as possible, and then hopefully I'll be able to read Wolfsong as well. I wanted to finish it, but I'm not sure how that's going to work with school again, just because A Court of Silver Flames is kind of my priority when it comes out on Tuesday. But yes, I'm super excited. This one, as you guys know, is a angel urban fantasy type book, and I would label it new adult just because of age. And the last book I finally found, I wasn't even looking, I just walked by it and I was like, is that what I think it is? And I picked it up because I've been hearing so many great things. I've been wanting it for a while, and it's just never there because it's been sold out. And that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I have read V.E. Schwab, the Dark Duet series, the one about the monsters, and I think I read it a little too young than I should have been, because her writing is very intense, and I think as she's mainly an adult writer, and I don't think her young adult book really meshed with my mind when I was like 15, but we have this, and I'm really excited. I've been hearing nothing but good things. This is kind of a time traveler, through the ages type of book. I know she falls in love, it's sad, and I don't think she ever ages, something like that. It reminds me of that movie with Blake Lively, but I do think it has a different type of tone to it. This cover's not my favorite. It's very bland, but I am excited for the contents of this book. And this book I'm probably going to hold off on reading just because I have a ton of books I'm reading now, as you know. And I feel like I'm not going to read this till like March, April, or May, something like that. But I have it, and I don't have to worry about finding it, and I'm very excited. So that is my mishmash of a video. I hope you guys all enjoyed. If you guys have any questions about any of these books, please let me know, and let me know what you guys are reading for the month of February. I'm really curious. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Bye!